Good morning, Global Stampers. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey. I am joining you on the Global Stamp team today because it is our new catalog, new colors, new online products we're sharing today and yesterday. I hope several of you, many of you, watched yesterday. For the first time, I think I got to watch just everybody on the first day. I'm always traveling, so I don't always get to see everybody. I was so worn out with all those fabulous presentations. It was fun. I learned lots of new things and saw products that I had not been able to purchase. So I hope that you saw some and you'll see something that you're just dying to have. We love doing these videos for you. We love when you share and that things that you've learned, maybe a card you've made. You don't even have to have the same products. You can use the same layout, the same technique, and share with us because that makes us super duper happy. Good morning, Joy and Sandra. Sandra, I guess it's night for you or afternoon. I'm not sure. We'll see, won't we? So today I am going to share a suite with you. It is called Florals in Bloom. But if you're like me, you thought, I am not buying any more flower stamps, products, paper until I saw this. And then I thought, my goodness, it's pretty, it's different. The colors are delicious. They are so yummy. I mean, and they go with everything new and everything old. So it's a good mix of the new and old Incolors. Now, you can certainly cherry pick. You don't have to buy the whole suite. That's what's good about it. If you buy the whole suite, you're going to get everything. But you can also just choose to buy the stamp set, whichever one you like separately, or just the embellishments or the paper. It's, you have choices. So if you don't like everything, just pick and choose what you think you would like to use. And I think Katie used the Pretty Florals yesterday. And if I remember, she used the tiger, the yellows, and maybe the timid tiger. She used duckling and timid tiger. Well, I'm using mostly Straberry Slush and some of our older colors. So let's put that to the side. I did want to show you the pretty papers. I think these are hyacinth, maybe. But if they're in blue and all, I guess you could pretend they're wisteria or purple. And so that's really pretty. This looks like Calypso Coral, our new cloud cover. And this is Summer Splash, but and I'm thinking this is I'm drawing a blank there. Pretty Peacock. So we've got some more pinks and Fresh Freesia, Blackberry Bliss, some blues like Moonlight Mist. Here's the Timid Tiger, all more Calypso Coral. And then this one's my absolute favorite. I just love it. Well, the backs I wasn't super wild about. But last night when I was do dream cards in your sleep, I was thinking, this is mid-century modern. And wouldn't it look cool to do some blocky color block things with these two? And then we've got some other kind of neutrals. So it just takes some creativity thinking about the colors and the patterns as to what you can do with all these things. And so I think these colors are so pretty. And I hope you will also. So let's get started. This is the card we're going to make. We're using both sets. For Pretty Florals, we're going to use the hyacinth and the branch. And then I have my sticky mat here for a reason. I'll tell you why. And the Sweet Blooms, we're going to use the die and the stamps. This is my sticky mat. And one reason I have it out today is I tend to stamp way down here. And then you guys can't see anything. So I put that there to help me remember to stamp where the camera is. I guess, you know, we all get excited and we get busy stamping and we forget what we're doing, and pretty soon we're out of the camera range. So today I'm going to try to stay in the camera range. So, of course, I'm going to mix and match today. I'm using this embossing folder. It's called Damask Designs, and it's from the Gallery Blooms. I promise you, we had a bathroom once with wallpaper with this design. It was the ugliest wallpaper, but it's a pretty embossing folder, isn't it? Well, it wasn't ugly in the 70s, but it was for. So that I'm going to emboss that in white, and then this is the DSP, and then we're going to stamp our little hyacinths. So I'm going to give you some hints and tricks on how to put this card together. So we're going to start with just a basic white card base. It's 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So we'll give that a good crease, and we don't really need that quite just yet. So we have some Granny Apple Green we're going to mount on there, and this is 5 Oh, I wrote that wrong. It said 5 1/2 by 4, but it's really 5 1/4 by 4, just to give it a nice frame. So we can go ahead and do that. I will put these measurements up there for you to see in just a minute. And I'll fix that. So that's actually 5 1/4. It's a good thing when you look over there and you know. Now, our basic white that we've embossed with the embossing folder is 5 by 3 7/8. And I went ahead and emboss that just to save a little time there, and it gives a nice green frame on there. So you've got a nice color palette to go ahead and do your artistic creations. I guess we can call this artistic, I don't know, crafty creation. Okay, now the next thing we need is our frame. And this is also from the Gallery and Blooms. And this is it cuts 2 frames at one time. So you have one you can use for another project and the one we're going to use here. So I left it in here so you could see that. It's a nice frame, and having getting 2 for the price of 1 frame is a bonus. Now we'll just have to figure out what to do with that other frame. We'll just keep that in the frame there so it won't get lost. And now I've cut a piece of the DSP. I tried to make sure at least I had one of the large images in our, in the frame space. And this is right at 4 by 2.5. You can wiggle around with that because, you just don't want it peeking out around the edge of your frame. Hi Maureen, it's good to see you today. And, if you have any peeking out, you can always trim it off if you have to. Put that over there. Now I think we're about ready to do some stamping. I'm going to give you a little hint. This morning I decided I would go ahead and stamp and pre-cut the little stems. And those two came out pretty good. But the first ones I did, they didn't do so good because they didn't fit the die. And then I realized that this is what I did. So I want to make sure you don't do this. I pulled this out of the case and then I stuck it on there. And when I did, it made the stem kind of move. So the trick to this is really lay your stamp down. I shouldn't put on the sticky. Lay your stamp down if it's photopolymer and let it relax. And then pick it up. And you can see the difference in how those two lined up. This is the relaxed one, and this is the one that I just stuck on there myself, which was not a good idea. So if you ever have that problem, just take it off, put it down and let it relax, because, we don't always know where the die is going to go. But now, if you want it to be curved, you're not going to die cut it, but you want it to be curved for, however you want that flower to look. You certainly can do that. That's the blessing about photopolymer, is you can move them around a little bit. But if you want it to match the die, you're going to need to let it kind of do its own thing. Now we're going to do our hyacinths. I am calling these that. I have no idea really what they are. We'll just call them that. And I'm going to use Strawberry Slush and Bubble Bath. Now, I've played with these, of course, several times. And to me, it was easier. You have the outline and then the filler. To do the outline first. So we're going to stamp a couple of these, because, of course, if we make a mistake, then we'll have some extras. Now you'll notice on the DSP, they have it two-toned, and I'll talk to you about that in a little while. Mine are not going to be two-toned on this one, just because I chose it that way. But I'll show you on another card how to make it be two-toned. And now we're going to fill it in with Bubble Bath. I also played with several of the pinks to try to, get something I liked. I should have tried the Calypso Coral, but I didn't. I was just happy with this one. Now, when you try this, you might find it easier to do the inside and then the outline. We all have our preferences, don't we? Now we can cut these out and hope they come out pretty enough. I'm going to run that through the cut and emboss. Now, if you own the mini cut and emboss, I do believe all our dies from this set will work in the mini machine. I am not real sure about that frame from the gallery. It might be a little too wide. We'd have to check. But these two stamp sets in this suite will certainly work for the mini machine. These came out pretty good. All right, let's see what we need here next. We're going to put, this is the same paper, but the back side. This is for the inside. This is for the outside, and this is just right at 4 and by 1, I think. We just put that towards the bottom. Gives us a grounding feature. Yeah, we forget that stamps have a mind of their own, so we need to let them relax. Maybe we need to relax sometimes. All right, now we're ready to, let's see here. Make sure we're doing our card the right way. So we're going to put our frame on with some dimensionals. I think Joy said she was a dimensional girl, so am I. I don't like them to be lumpy. I want them all smooth. And of course, I hope you're like us. Save these edge pieces. You can use them for lots of things. That way you don't have to cut some of your dimensionals in half. You just use those edge pieces. I forgot, I need one in the middle, just to keep it from sagging. See if they're all, there we go. So somebody said, this could be a delphinium, a lilac. Yeah, I agree. We can make it be just about anything we want. Okay, now we've got that part going. This is pretty as it is. Put a little bow on there, but we're going to add some more to it. So we're going to die cut the word bloom. This is going to be the back and the Strawberry Slush. It's the bolder die. Can you see? One's bigger than the other. So it's the bolder cut. And then this is our thinner die cut. But we're going to put some adhesive on it, an adhesive sheet, because it'll make it so much easier for us than having to put little bitty drops of glue. I love our adhesive sheets. We just tend to forget to use them sometimes. When you're cutting an image with the adhesive sheet, I always find it easy to try to have that seam there so you know you can start it in the middle or find a starting place. If you're just trying to find that starting place to peel it off on the back, it's a little harder. So having a seam in there helps. So we can run both of these through at the same time. Now we've got a nice little bloom there. And then our white one. You want to cut. The side you're seeing is the side that you put your die on. If you do it the other way, it'll be backwards. I've done that before. See if I can get that started there. That's it's fine and tiny. So you see how it would be kind of hard to use your Tombow to stick that on there. Now we know we should have a seam right here around the middle. There it is. So we can pull that off. Your seam doesn't have to be in the middle. That just happened to work this time. Just have a seam somewhere to help you get started. There we go. And pick where you're going to start. Try to lay this down gently until we're sure. That looks pretty good. I don't know that this would be one you mass produce, but you could want to make several of these at one time. You'll get better the more you practice. Now we can turn over and get our second. I can see that. I feel like a surgeon. Well, there we go. I don't know that I'd be a very good surgeon with these shaky hands, so. Now, you know, I could have, and probably should have, put an adhesive sheet on here, but we do have some larger spaces, so I think we'll be okay. So now we're going to put our bloom on here. We're not going to glue that quite down until we decide where we're going to put our blossoms. We want them coming up there. These are pretty colors, aren't they, Doris? I just ready for spring. I think we'll bring that down a little, yeah. And if I remember right here, we're going to put a mini dimensional on this one because it's going to hang over the edge and we want it to be the same thickness as our frame. So just a little tombow there and then the dimensional there, so that doesn't look so strange. Okay. This one we're pretty good at being able to get some tombow on there. And we'll try to center that. There we go. Just going to let that float. It does not bother me. Now we're ready for our blossoms. Oh, I do think these need some Wink of Stella, don't they? Maybe pretend like there's some morning dew on them. It also brings out that bright color of this Strawberry Splash. Now we're going to do the same thing here with some mini dimensionals because that's going to hang off. Isn't that pretty? Now I also for this picked the Straberry Slush Pretty in Pink bling rather than the Incolor ones. Just because I wanted to stay with all pink. All pink all the time. And I'm using two different shades there because it kind of gives it that variety. Ooh, I should have stamped the inside first because then if I mess it up, I'll have to cover it up. Hopefully we won't mess it up. You could leave this, not put anything on the inside, or choose a birthday sentiment. I did forget this though. I've die cut one of the branches here. Anything, you could let this be a thinking of you card, a birthday card, just any, or it could be Mother's Day. if you hadn't made your Mother's Day card in time. And I just slid this one behind there just to give it a little more color. Kind of forgot that. You have lots of choices here. You could put one over there, but I don't think it needs. This one probably less is more. Here. See if we can get that in there. I bet there's a dimensional in the way. I think that'll still work. Let's pick that little baby up. There we go. Cute, cute. Now this says bloom where you're planted for the inside. You could also stamp another flower in there if you wanted to. Pretty good. And then I have just another strip 4 1/4 by 1 to decorate down at the bottom. Of course, some of this was pre-cut and ready, but it still didn't take too long to make this card. For me, it's the designing that can take 3 hours. That's just the way it is, isn't it? So there's our completed card, bloom where you're planted. Of course, we've all tried to show you some alternates, and I have 2, I think, for you. So I did this one the same concept, except rather than a frame, I just used the everyday arches, and this is all DSP except for the hello. I even cut the flowers out from the DSP, and so it's very little stamping, pretty quick. Blackberry Bliss, Petunia Pop, I think, for this one, and then some pink ribbon. Now this uses the DSP from this bundle, the Spotlight on Frames circle dies. I'm going to put a piece of white there with a sentiment when I decide what this will be. Now see here, I did get the 2-tone look. I tried stamping it. I tried different colors. It all looked blobby. The thing that worked was to use your markers, the Stampin' Write markers, to ink your stamp. So I used the bubble bath there, and then at the bottom I used the Petunia Pop, I believe. So use the Stampin' Write marker and you will get a much clearer ombre look than trying to... What I tried to do first was like put the ink here and then a little from the other one, and it just looked messy. So I found that the Stampin' Write markers gives you the better ombre look than if you just try to do it willy-nilly using your stamp pads. So we've got 3 cards here that you can ooh and ah over. This is a good set, Rose. I appreciate you watching and commenting. Thank you. And thank you, Leanne, for popping in today. All right, I think Sandra will be up next, unless I'm wrong. So, but anyway, at the top of the hour, somebody will be here to share some more pretty cards with you. Thanks. Oh, don't forget, if you want the PDF inspiration sheet, you place an order with your demonstrator, and she will be glad to pop that in the mail to you as soon as it's available.